probeert in een buurt eigenlijk te kijken van ja, hoe kan je duurzaamheid op een laagdrempelige manier bespreekbaar maken, maar dat is nog best wel lastig.
Ik denk dat we in de Indische buurt hebben heel veel mooie initiatieven die er zijn. Heel veel mensen ook die bezig zijn met duurzaamheid, maar ook heel veel mensen die bezig zijn met andere dingen, om allerlei redenen. Terwijl we wel echt stappen zullen moeten gaan zetten. En de Roadshow een heel goed middel is om die inspiratie te doen groeien en bloeien. Dus daarom heb ik gevraagd of het team van TU Delft een consortium naar de Indische buurt kan komen.
You know, there's so much passion in the neighbourhood, and it's an impressive thing, and I think we just got to have to learn how to tap it. Each city has a different mindset or a starting position, but each city did have initiatives trying to be sustainable. And what we've figured out over the past 7 years is it's not just about sustainability, this project, the Roadshow. It isn't about the amount of kilowatt hours you can get. There's other factors. People have other things in their lives that are important. Picking the kids up from school, paying the bills, doing all these things. So I guess, particularly in this neighbourhood, this Burt, there's a small space in there for new things. They have other things on their mind. They don't wake up in the morning worrying about carbon accounting. Yeah, they have other issues, and I think that's the important balance we've got to strike.
I think it's important that we seize the opportunity to help the Indische Buurt with the people from the Indische Buurt as well, to make it the energy transition real.
But what did strike me with what Michael had to say about this initiative where they go and help people with their drafts or the installation of the radiators, and the biggest added value that Michael and his team were giving to the people in the community was social. It was having a chat with the old people, the vulnerable in those areas that suffer if the light bulb goes out, or the radiator doesn't work properly, or there isn't a handle where the bath is, you know, and they could help with that. But it was the chat, it was the inclusion, wasn't it? It was the cohesiveness of bringing these people together and just spending a bit of time with people. And I guess sustainability needs that element. I think we've seen that today, where the technical is one thing, but the social, without the social, it doesn't mean anything.
I've been doing a lot of colouring in. I always think the answer to urban problems is always on a map. So the first thing I try and do is draw different ways of seeing the place. When you start to see the patterns of a neighbourhood, you can start to manipulate them in clever ways, because obviously you can't take a neighbourhood and knock it all down and start again. Well, you could do, but not usually acceptable. So what you try and do is find little things that where little things can make big changes. So, for example, you know, I've been thinking about the 4 quarters model of the neighbourhood. Everyone's been telling me there's 4 quarters to the neighbourhood, and I don't think there are. For example, I think that's a mistake. I think there are actually 10 super blocks. So that means someone's idea of the space isn't the same as someone else's idea of the space. And maybe if you see it in the other way, you might see opportunities that maybe the other model doesn't see. And I try and draw as many ways of seeing it as I can to try and see new ways of understanding how the space works. But yeah, I did invent the idea of Pac-Man.
Good.
But actually, Ricardo does all the hard work.
He executes it.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Cool.
And that was to have fun too, about something else, because the idea of the Pac-Man is that it starts with the size of forest that you need to sequester carbon for the neighbourhood, and every time we invent a carbon-free solution, it eats a bit of the forest up. So eventually we need a much smaller forest to sequester carbon, and hopefully we can make the forest so small we can hide it in the neighbourhood, so the neighbourhood sequesters its own carbon.
Nou ja, dit is de laatste dag van de Roadshow. Dus we hebben 4 dagen lang een internationaal team van wetenschappers en architecten op bezoek gekregen. En vanavond is de eindpresentatie.
What are the most important lessons that we have to teach the young children?
Right. That's really easy. You can change the world. You can change the world. That's the main lesson. That's the main lesson, isn't it? That you are powerful. You can make a difference.
I think of the guys who drained the polder in the first place. They started with mud. And then they made a city, then they built amazing housing and with drainage that prevented people getting cholera and did all that. And our generation don't do anything. You know, we need to get real, don't we? And start putting things back and making a better world for people. And that means everyone in this room starting to get together and making things happen because other generations have done it. And our generation is really bad at it, isn't it? It's the worst. You know?
So. En ik had er eigenlijk geen vertrouwen meer in. Ik dacht van, nou ja, de aarde gaat gewoon naar de kloten en we zien het wel. Maar door deze 4 dagen ben ik weer helemaal geïnspireerd. Ik heb weer hoop. Ik heb ook allemaal mogelijkheden gezien die kunnen, waarvan andere mensen zeggen dat het niet kan. Maar zij zeggen dat het wel kan en dat zijn de experts.
Ja, ik ben wel blij met het resultaat. Ik denk dat het echt laat zien dat we de Indische buurt ook echt richting energie klimaatneutraal kunnen krijgen. Op een manier die weinig mensen denk ik voorzien hadden. Hè. Het wordt toch heel vaak heel technisch en ingewikkeld. Maar ik denk dat er hier ook hele mooie kansen gecreëerd worden die meerwaarde aan de buurt geven.